Hello, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us on this next episode of the Lyme Boss podcast. I'm Heather Gray, aka the Lyme Boss, and I help frustrated professionals who can't get over their embarrassing gut issues, right? I help them to conquer their brain fog and get out of that widespread chronic pain. Could it be Lyme disease? It was with myself, and it is with a lot of the folks that I work with. And so I try to bring on tools, different experts, different technologies out there because I actually love technologies. I'm kind of a technology geek, to help bring, health and awareness. And when I met Dr. Paul at Mindshare this last year, like he was right up there with the majority of the folks that I love to bring on this podcast and educate, because literally within 5 minutes of his talk, I was like on the edge of my seat and I wanted to go run and buy whatever he was selling. And I'm never that impulsive, not to that extent, but when he spoke, what he does with the water, it just made sense. And so I hope you guys enjoy him as much as I do. Welcome, Dr. Paul, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Heather.
Yay. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got started and what you're doing? You've got a company called Echo Technologies, and you do hydrogen water. Could you explain a little bit about what got you into that to begin with, and then go a little bit more into, what is your company, what is hydrogen water, and why should we care?
Yeah, no. So it all started with my queen, the love of my life. And what's today? In 3 days, we will be married 29 years. So
holy cow, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah,
wow, that's huge. And then for you to still talk about her that way instead of like my old ball and chain or
right?
What I mean? Like I even heard you on the phone one day. You're like, yes, love.
yes. She is I'll tell you, I am completely in love with her, very married, and she is my queen and my everything. So best friend, the whole deal. So I am in love with her, and it all started with her. And when we were married about 10 years, she had issues our entire first years of marriage. And she had thyroid issues. She had gynecological issues. She was highly anemic. She had short-term memory issues, which later, obviously, we know is from yeast in the brain and different things. And so there were so many issues going on. And of course, I had no idea what to do. I was 31 years old at the time, married 10 years. I'm like, I don't know what to do. My scope of practice at the time was people with diabetes, foot and ankle issues. And that was my focus. But I said to myself,
wait. Oh, never mind. Go ahead. I'm like wrapping my brain around diabetes and then foot and ankle issues. I'm like, wait, but a lot of folks with diabetes have extremity issues. So yes.
Neuropathy, amputation. Yeah.
It just took a minute to put the
no worries. So that was really my world, was preventing amputations and basically limb salvage. So the reality was I had to take a look in the mirror and say, okay, this is your wife. If you want her to be with you for the rest of your life and beyond, which is what you're interested in, you got to help her, because it was not going well. So long story short, I was looking for modalities. I was looking for things that could help her. And the water I discovered and came across, and everyone at the time was saying, oh, it's alkaline, it's the pH. And of course, I can't agree with that, because fundamentally the pH doesn't get through the stomach acid, but I could not deny the anecdotal evidence. I couldn't deny that it helped my wife. So water helped my wife. Some really close friends of ours had an organic food store in our city, and we bought food there and stuff. And so funny enough, at 9/11, their business got chopped in half because people weren't coming to Disney World anymore to visit. And so half their business was literally people who were buying food for their condos while they were staying at Disney. That was half their business. And so people weren't flying around the country after 9/11. So they came to me to get financial help to weather the storm. And as a result of that, they were taking longer to pay back this help that I gave them. And so I forgave the interest and just said, just pay me the principal. Don't worry about the interest, we're friends. Well, that was the greatest thing I did.
You do that?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah. I'm like, No.
Yeah, nice guy, huh? So anyways, I did that, and that was the greatest thing, because as a thank you, once they did end up paying me back, they took us on a cruise as a thank you.
Wow.
And on that cruise, they brought 8 gallons of water for us. It was a 9-day cruise, and they brought water. And I thought it was the strangest thing, Heather. Suntan lotion, sunglasses, bathing suits. I get that. Water, I was like, they already have that on the ship. I've been on cruises before. They have water there. You're kind of floating in it, right? And so the reality is, they're like, no, you don't want to drink that. You're going to drink that. Okay, whatever. So mind you, the first day of the cruise, my wife was on her first day of her menstrual cycle, and she was doubled over in pain as usual. And, like when we stopped at Walgreens to change her gear, as we called it, they were like, do we need to call an ambulance for your wife? And I'm like, why? And they're like, because she doesn't look like she's going to make it. And I'm like, oh no, this is normal. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Thank you though for your concern. Put her back in the back seat, and we went to the ship, got her in the room, laid her down. And here was me thinking, okay, most of this 9-day cruise is going to be her in bed.
Oh.
And so I went to art auctions, came back. I was going back and forth to stuff, checking in on her, whatever I could do, because it's not fun without, the person that you came with on the cruise.
Right.
Well, I said, hey, get some water. And so she drank some water. I drank the water. I didn't sprout wings. I didn't levitate off the ground. There was no magic moment. I wasn't like, oh. I was just like, it's good tasting water. She drank the water, and she was like, honey, there's something to this. My body is craving this water. And she put her fist together, and she's like, I can't stop drinking it. And I'm like, well, then drink it. I'll drink the toilet water. Drink the special water. It's all good. And so she was drinking that water, and within 3 days, she was up and around and having a great cruise. And I'm like, holy moly, this is something very serious.
How long would she normally be down for?
A week.
A week. And so she was up in 3 days.
Oh yeah. She'd lose about 30 ounces of blood per cycle. I mean, it was not good. So she was up and around and having great. And we went to Costa Rica. We went to Panama. I held the sloth. I mean, it was an amazing cruise. Yeah. So anyways, we get home, and she's buying water now from them by the gallon. And I'm like, you're buying that water by the gallon? She was like, yeah, I love this water. Well, 6 months later, her menstrual cycle is normal. And I'm just like, hold on a minute. This is like something pretty serious. So again, I saw huge benefits, and they were saying it's because of the pH, and I'm going, nope, not possible. However, I need to figure out what the mechanism is. So it took me about 1.5 years, and I figured out it was hydrogen gas. And once I figured out it was hydrogen gas, I did a deep dive on hydrogen gas and what hydrogen gas can do in the body. It was really difficult to find anything, but I did find some information. And I began, once I was searching and I knew what I was searching for, I could find it. And then I was just so passionate about the hydrogen. And so many of the alkaline water machines, they do produce hydrogen when they're brand new, but over time they lose the ability to dissolve hydrogen. And so you lose the benefits unless you're cleaning those devices quite often. And so I wanted to develop a system that will dissolve H2 gas or hydrogen gas into water without changing the pH of the water. And that's what I did. And that's what Echo is. That's what Echo Technologies is. It's a line of products that dissolve hydrogen gas into water, because there's 1,250 studies showing reduction of oxidative stress, chronic inflammation, neurologic benefits, blood pressure, diabetes, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, cancer, you name it, telomeres, it doesn't matter, but immune function increase, gut recovery, you name it. Hydrogen's part of it. And so I know this is shocking, but I didn't discover hydrogen. I didn't even develop hydrogen.
It isn't so, Dr. Paul. I thought it would be all this time.
I know, crazy. So the reality is I simply developed a machine that will filter water and then dissolve H2 gas into that water. And if it's dissolved, then it gets through the stomach, through the duodenum or duodenum, into the small intestine, and more importantly, into the colon, which is where we would want it, because that's where we want anaerobic microflora. That's where we want our gut to be functioning. That's where our antioxidant aspect of our body function is in the first place. And it requires hydrogen in the colon. And that's normally where you would produce hydrogen gas. We call it flatulence or fart therapy. But the reality is we should be producing hydrogen in our intestinal tract when we eat fiber-rich foods and when we eat foods with short-chain fatty acids and medium-chain fatty acids. If we have the proper bacteria in the gut, we'll also have these amazing bacteria called hydrogen trophs. And those hydrogen trophs are what converts the fatty acids and the fiber into hydrogen gas. And that hydrogen gas is what modulates oxidation and inflammation.
Fantastic. Wow. Mic drop. Talk a little bit more about what really fired me up at your talk at Mindshare is when you were going into the gut and like the gut health. And, I work with, like I said, in my tagline, it's talking about, embarrassing digestive issues, yeah, because they can be embarrassing, right?
Horrible.
Oh my God. Yeah. And it's not normal, folks. So his wife's, horrible periods, embarrassing digestive issues, just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal.
That's right.
But talk to me a little bit more about what it can do for the gut.
So I'll start out with a crazy comment and then I'll back it up. How about that?
I love it.
So we can take people that are gluten and dairy intolerant, and in 2 weeks they can be eating gluten and dairy without any issues or inflammation or, whatever. And we do this as a shock therapy for people. But when they say you're crazy, I haven't been able to eat gluten for 9 years. And if I eat gluten, it knocks me out for 3 days. And I'll say, no, drink water from my machine for 2 weeks and drink it properly, for 2 weeks. Then
wait, what do you mean properly?
At least 3 16-ounce glasses a day. Yes. Now, the more you drink, obviously, the better for your body, especially initially. And I would say for proper hydration, half your body weight in ounces would be accepted. You kind of need to take into consideration exercise levels, and if you're going in saunas or you're sweating a lot or not, or if you eat a lot of soups or vegetables or smoothies, because you're also getting water content in there. But in the beginning of drinking the water, you cannot get too much. It's really difficult to overdrink water. That usually the opposite is a problem. Most people are chronically dehydrated. So when I say properly, we would mimic the human body. So 3 times a day you would eat, 3 times a day you should fart, 3 times a day there should be flatulence created, and that would have hydrogen. And so let's mimic that by drinking the water at least 3 times a day. So that's what I'm saying when I say properly. And what I'm also meaning is don't drink a thimbleful of water and think that you're getting hydrated or that that's enough. You really need to drink water. And people will say to me, well, then I have to go to the bathroom. And I'll say, well, yeah, that's the process. You drink stuff in, and then your body puts toxins into the water and you pee it out. It's the normal process. So drink water, go to the bathroom. It's not going to be forever that you're going to go to the bathroom as much as you will in the first days, because you're getting toxins out of the body, contaminants out of the body. I don't constantly pee in the bathroom, and I've been drinking the water for almost 20 years. And so just understand there's a process in the beginning where your body will clean itself out, and you'll probably have some weight loss, and you'll have some inflammation reduction and some eyesight improvements and some brain improvements and all these things. Just know that that's happening in the first bit, and then your body will settle once it's kind of gotten its priorities out of the way, its first priorities. But the gut issue, if we really want to understand what gut issue means. So I like you hear everyone talking about gut issues, and we hear stuff like leaky gut, and I don't even know what that means. I jokingly say, is stuff rolling down your leg? I don't know what leaky gut is. Like, it doesn't make any sense, because when you have a gut issue, it means you have a bacterial issue in the gut. And that's really what gut issues are. It's not all this other stuff people talk about. It's the fact that 91 to 96% of the bacteria in your colon should be anaerobic microflora. Now, for that to occur, the tissue in the lining of the gut has to be a negative electrical potential, not a positive electrical potential. So when a antibiotic, or when you reverse the polarity of the gut, now it's a home for aerobic bacteria, which is not what you want. You want anaerobic. And so when I developed the water system, we put into that water a negative 300, negative 400 millivolts of electrical potential. And so the hydrogen and the water getting into the gut will change the biome and the terrain of your gut within minutes of drinking the water. Within an hour, you're going to have good bacteria or anaerobic microflora coming. And don't believe for a minute that we have to seed bacteria. This is false information. As soon as you change the terrain and the biome, they will come. And I would use an example of an aquarium. When the water is out of balance, where did the algae come from? It wasn't there yesterday. Now it's all of a sudden there today. Where did it come from? You didn't throw algae in there. It just came because the water and the environment, the terrain was out of balance. So, and when you balance the terrain again in an aquarium, where does the algae go? It goes back into the environment. So understand that your gut has everything it needs, positive or negative. And if you support a positive electrical potential, then you're going to have the opposite. You're going to have anxiety, depression, food cravings for sugar and carbs, things that aerobic bacteria want to eat. If we support a terrain for a negative electrical potential, then your body's going to want fatty acids and fiber, which is the good kind of foods you're going to want to eat. And that's just as simple as I can put it. So in that process of getting the right bacteria, your immune system and your entire gut, you can ferment food properly.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So it was always my understanding is that like corn, wheat, and dairy were what we called the big bads, that they were, kind of covered in glyphosate, typically GMO, can be heavy in molds, and can be a large protein, which, especially grains, not properly, soaked or sprouted, can be kind of hard, like battering rams on the gut, and that they were also contributing to a leaky gut. So you're saying that you can heal the gut to the point where you can eat these foods again, but what's going to stop them from possibly causing more damage? Or do you believe they weren't the part of the damage to begin with?
Well, okay. So I believe that you should be able to eat any kind of food you want to eat, and your body should be able to process it if your gut was working appropriately. The problem is there are certain foods, and let's be honest, it's the bacteria in the gut that ferment stuff. Whether you're making kefir or you're making kombucha, it's bacteria that's doing the work, right? And what happens if you get the wrong bacteria in kefir or in kombucha, it can be poisonous. So understand that it's all about bacteria in your gut. And so bacteria likes to eat certain types of food. So when you have a small amount of aerobic bacteria, then you can eat a small amount of sugar and carbs and things like normal, but the bulk of your diet should be whole foods, vegetables, and fiber. Like meat is still fiber and stuff like this. That would mean that you had the appropriate balance of aerobic and anaerobic. Now, if you switch that to where you have a small amount of anaerobic, guess what's going to happen? All the foods that have fiber in them and all the foods that have fatty acids, your body's going to be like, I can't do anything with that. So you're going to have diarrhea. And here you are eating a salad, which is quote unquote healthy, and you're going to have diarrhea because you do not have the bacteria to process that food. So it's not about, in my opinion, the food. It is about the glyphosate. Now, the glyphosate is what causes a lot of gut issues. And so I would definitely not eat wheat products, oats, corn that are bathed in glyphosate, because you're just adding to your gut issue, and it's a chemical going in your gut that's destroying the biome and the terrain. So you're going to constantly have issues. Now, do I think corn is really something we should eat anyways? No, neither. We shouldn't eat oats either. I don't. I think there's a lot of foods that we consider healthy that really are not for us. But I like corn maybe on July 4th. Just take one for the team and enjoy your corn on, holidays or whatever. but corn is not a part of my diet normally. And you do know when you have a good gut and you eat corn and don't chew up one of the kernels and it comes out the same way,
Right.
there's not a lot your body's doing with it. And it's mostly sugar, right? So reality is, I believe you should be able to eat dairy, and I think you should be able to eat all kinds of food types in balance. Ice cream shouldn't be your only diet, right?
Right.
I don't think mono diets are appropriate. I think that a variation of foods is healthy, but you need a gut that's healthy, which means what? That you have the proper bacteria. And to get the proper bacteria, you have to restore the terrain and the biome. And the only way to restore the terrain and biome is to get the electrical potential of the tissue proper, so that the bacteria go, oh, finally, you made a home for me, and they'll stay. Even when you're taking probiotics, which I don't have a problem with probiotics, but the bacteria that you're supporting aren't going to stay if they don't have a home. You can bus people into an area they don't want to live, and they're going to leave again. It's the same as bacteria. If there's not a home for them, they're not going to set up a community. So you need to have the electrical potential. And this is the reason why we can fix a gut or restore the biome or the terrain in 2 weeks, is because we're changing the electrical potential, and the bacteria comes on its own.
Gotcha. So when you were talking about the three 16-ounce glasses a day, so that's in one sitting, 16 ounces?
Oh yeah, just chug that stuff.
Chug it down. Okay, fascinating.
That you're right though. That does seem like a lot of water for some people. For me, that seems like a very small amount of water.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, because this is more than, this is maybe 16 ounces, this glass.
Right. Yeah. Because yeah. So here's 16 ounces.
Yeah, it's not that much.
It really isn't. But I mean, I typically will, drink like 4 of these a day, but I'm sipping it, or taking
So that's a gallon
out of it. Yeah.
It's a gallon of water
During the day, but I've never think about chugging it down like that at one time. So I'll have to try that.
Well, and I would recommend people don't drink all at night. You're going to be going potty at night.
Of course, yeah.
You definitely spread it out during the day so that you have it there. And I would tell people, if 60 to 70% of your body weight is water, then if you do the math and take your body weight, multiply it by 0.6, then divide it by 8, because it's 8 pounds per gallon of water, you're going to figure out that you have 13 to 15 gallons of water in you.
Wow. And
drinking 1 gallon a day, you're only replacing 10%, 8 to 10% of your water per day with fresh new water.
What was that calculation again? I don't think I've heard that one before.
Okay, so all you're doing is figuring out how many gallons in a typical male or female. So let's take a typical person, let's say 200 pounds. Let's say it's a dude. 200 pounds times 0.6, which is 60% of your body. So 120 pounds of used water divided by 8 means there's 15 gallons of water in that human being.
Wow.
And if you're drinking 1 gallon of water, then you've replaced, 8% of your water in your body. And so you should be recycling your water, and that should be natural and normal.
Fascinating.
And just understand, water is used for temperature regulation, energy, mitochondria function. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that water is used for. Now, another thing to talk about hydrogen, because hydrogen's new for people other than the Hindenburg. Everybody seems to know about the Hindenburg. But understand, hydrogen itself is not really flammable that much. It's not until you combine it with oxygen that it becomes exciting. So understand that in your body, 60% of your body is hydrogen. When we start looking at water molecules in your body, that's hydrogen. You've got hydrogen stores. When we look at HCl, stomach acid, what's the H? Hydrogen. When we start looking down to a molecular level of the body, it's carbon hydrogen chains. Everything is carbon hydrogen chains. So hydrogen is critical. And if your body's not producing hydrogen, how are you making stomach acid? You won't be making. So you have to take pills.
Right.
So this is the problem, is when you're drinking my water, the Echo water, from a machine that we manufacture, you have hydrogen now, and you can modulate inflammation. You can modulate brain function. You can modulate stomach acid. You won't have issues with stomach acid. You'll have immune function. You'll have energy because you won't be producing hydroxyl radicals in the mitochondrial respiratory chain because you won't be sugar and carb loading to get energy. So when you have hydrogen in your system, your mitochondria will be producing ATP and you'll have energy and you won't be tired in the afternoon like you're used to being. And so hydrogen really is the answer. Everything we're doing to increase energy or to help our gut, or it's all because of gut damage. And gut damage really means you don't have hydrogen production. That's the problem, is you're not digesting properly and you're not having hydrogen to modulate inflammation and oxidation. And if we really understand disease models, the leading cause of disease, doesn't matter what kind of disease it is, you have many to choose from. It's oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. The combination of those two things causes disease. And those two things is what hydrogen reduces and manages. So please understand, from a preventative perspective, or if you've already got some issue that you're suffering from, you have a lack of hydrogen in your body.
Awesome. Can you dive a little deeper into what structured water is?
Well, yes, structured water means different things to different people. Some people believe that the molecular structure of water is what they're talking about, and other people are simply talking about frequencies and energy. It depends. I don't agree with those that are talking about the physical structure of water, because it's not like the hydrogen and oxygen are mating for life. You know, these hydrogen and oxygens are coming in and out of suspension and in and out of the relationship constantly. Water is a living substance, and the hydrogen and oxygen are moving around. So it's not like, you know, Johnny hydrogen and, you know, some oxygen combined for life and are having babies or anything. That's not the way it works. It's just elements, right? And so structure of water is pretty much going to be what structure of water is. And if we really look, even H2O is not really H2O always. It depends on the pH of the water. It depends on the temperature. Water is not always H2O even. So you just got to understand the structure is ever changing. Frequencies, on the other hand, I absolutely support and am a little bit passionate about the ability of water to carry energy, carry information. And that's really what I would say, is it can carry energy and it can carry information. And you can use that negatively and you can use it positively. You need to be very careful, because Hitler used it negatively and took people's lives by giving them water with such negative energy put in the water that it killed them. And it was never found out till 50 years later, because there was no chemicals in the water. There was nothing in the water, and they couldn't figure out how the people died just by having water. They weren't looking, but it was energy. Now, that's evil stuff. And hopefully you don't know anyone that evil in your life that could even make that kind of a thing for you. I don't know how to do it, but he did. I believe that water can be an amazing vehicle for beautiful energies, love-based energy, that can help people. And we introduced about 7 years ago now, a system that's built into the Echo H2 and the Echo Ultimate machines, and can be put externally for the server to put energy and information into water after it's gone through the filtration, after it's gone through hydrogen production and dissolving hydrogen. Then as a last stage, you can actually put energy and information into the water. And so we do have a program. It's a monthly subscription, but people can choose lungs, eyes, gallbladder, adrenals, parasite elimination, you know, menstrual, sleep support, whatever. Even things like chakras and whatever. We have all those kind of things in there. And so there are people that are very passionate about that, because, you know, I had someone, a couple of years ago, and I'll use this as a story because it's kind of crazy. She came to a booth at a show that we were at. It was a chiropractic show. It was called Master Circle. And she came and said, I've got a lot of issues with parasites and I can't get rid. She was a practitioner and she said, I can't get rid of them. I've tried everything. I've tried master cleanses. I've tried all this kind of stuff. I can't. And this person over there told me to come to you. And I'm like, really? Okay. Well, let me put my machine on parasite elimination, and I'm going to make you a little glass of water that's 6 ounces, and you drink two of those, and then let me know what happens. And so an hour later, she came to me and said, I just got out of the bathroom and I was eliminating parasites in the toilet. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing.
Did you
Now,
ask her if she took pictures?
no.
So many people love snapping pictures.
Oh,
Of
they do, and they're digging
right?
through it with the spoon, right? Oh my gosh. So
Show and tell.
yeah, exciting stuff. So I would just say to you, that's the only time that's happened where someone's done that. But she was in great need to get rid of parasites, and that was a very specific situation. Other situations are adrenal issues, people that have other kinds of issues. Like my wife, just a few days ago, she was starting to have a little bit of congestion in her chest. She had stayed up a little bit late, and I told her to put the lung water on, and she did, and boom, it's done. And then I said, okay, what else are you feeling? And she goes, oh, the congestion stopped immediately. She said, but I still kind of just I can feel my sinuses. So I put it on combined cold and flu, and boom, it helped her. So this is the way you would use that. There's also one of the options is water enhancer, which is 150 homeopathic remedies. So whatever you need, you get it, and the rest are as if they're not there. So it's a pretty amazing system. It's just a monthly subscription. There's no contract. People can go off anytime they want, but they love it. And it's really a beautiful system that just adds energy and frequencies into the system. And so that's a thing we added many years ago, and people love it. I love it. I definitely love it and use it. In addition to all the benefits of hydrogen we've talked about, you would also have the ability to put the resonance into the water. So I am passionate about that. It's been 18 years since I started getting taught. People would just show up to my place of business in St. Cloud, Florida, where we used to live, and they would say, hey, I'm supposed to tell you this, or I'm supposed to share this with you. And out of the blue, they would just show up, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's the next thing I needed. And I just say God is good and God is amazing. And some people say the universe. I think it's God. And the reality is they would come when they were needed. And so I got very passionate years ago about energy and frequencies. And I think you can do a lot of things, believe it or not, with energy and frequencies.
Oh, absolutely. You talk about when this last Mindshare, your booth was right next to Ness.
Yep.
Frequency technology machine.
Yep.
I came out of this last Mindshare, wow, with some really expensive toys.
Yes.
But holy shit, like what a game changer. And I feel like I'm in the flow and really cutting edge, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Dr. Emoto has done work with frequencies and energy in water, right? And you can actually go and look on his website and see pictures of, different shapes of water with different intentions, given towards the water, so this type of research, it's not woo woo, it's been proven and seen, and it's a big background in physics. Which is funny because I intuitively understand a lot of this stuff, but I don't know how to speak about it as eloquently as like you. So I'm hoping that comes with time, but I'm just other people are like, well, how do the infoceuticals that I take that, with the Nest work? Right. Like, I don't know, just take it. No, I know. I know how to explain it a little bit, but yeah, it's just fascinating. So just God bless you guys for doing the type of work that you're doing. And I'm curious, is there any way to add a frequency of abundance to that?
Yes, of course.
I mean, could you add that to the list, like prosperity or abundance?
We can add we have 330,000 frequencies in our database, and we're going to be, so right now we have what we call tier 1. It's $19.95 a month. We're going to add tier 2 March or April, which will be $29.95. And then we're going to have tier 3, which is $49.95. And those are going to be very serious. So the formulas in there will be very different. There's things for autism. There's things for some very high-end stuff that is mind-boggling. But yes, we're gonna have additional things that you can put into the water that are life-changing. And not that the tier one's not life-changing. Tier one covers every organ, and then additional things that you would want. Tier two and tier three just get far more serious for people that really want to help. And so the way we're going to use it is we're going to add bottles that have the ability to carry the formula. So let's say you have one member of your family that has autism. You just put autism on theirs, because there's 2,000 frequencies in that one formula that are all time released during the day. So the whole family doesn't need autism, just the one individual. So we're going to make it possible for you to add devices to your account. And then all that child would do is keep water in that bottle. And then all during the day, it's being released on its own. And that would be another device. So we're going to have a whole program. And I think we'll have stuff like dog bowls, because we have 30 different formulas for animals. And not that you can't use the regular ones for animals, but we have specific ones for disease models with animals and other issues like parasite and stuff. So I think it's pretty dang cool, and I'm excited about it. And speaking of Harry with Ness, him and I are very close friends, and we met through Mindshare, not at this last one in Scottsdale, but at the one in Park City that was prior to that. And we met, and he said to me, I feel like there's something we're supposed to do together. And I said, I feel that too. Well, in the meantime, it's been a year since we've known each other. He has shown an interest of wanting to add Ness into Echo machines. And so Ness practitioners will actually be able to, they'll be able to have a separate subscription for the clients, so that instead of having to ship bottles, dropper bottles, they can get it straight out of the machine with the water that they're getting. So they'll be able to go and choose what they want, and the revenue is still the same, and it's going back to the practitioner, going to Ness, going to us for, but it's going to be a beautiful thing. Because Harry said to me after we became friends, he said, my dream has always been to add Ness into a water system, but I just have never been able to develop a water system, and there's no better system than yours. So why not partner and work and do this together? So we are going to be doing that. We've had the first draft of that's already been done. And so Harry's amazing.
I would love to get him on my podcast, but I can't, I don't have his contact information. I have not been successful at getting through. I know, you know what I'm going to hit you up with as soon as we're off here. But how exciting. And see, I am cool, people. I'm in the know. Yeah. Like I said, when I met you, I bought a machine. Or I left within a month. I was a practitioner. I went through all the training and did everything. Like I was 12 hours a day. It was insane how much I was cramming down my throat. But I don't know, man. When when he said, I feel like we're meant to do something, it was just like, boom. Go. Yeah.
Well, Tracy Tekla, who was there at Ness booth at Mindshare, the lady that was there, the blonde lady, Tracy Tekla, she used to live in Florida, and she had her practice, and she had 2 or 3 of my machines in her practice that she was selling water by the gallon, and she was selling machines. And so I've got a long history with her, funny enough. And now she's working with Harry, which is awesome. But she knows about her system. So it's just a small world. This world that we all are in, trying to serve and love and lift people. There's some amazing people, and I'm grateful to know most of them and to be working with a lot of them. And so it's an honor, really.
Some of the names that you just got done dropping last time I talked to you, of like Zac Efron and who else? Kylie Jenner, some of the names that are going to be, helping to endorse this, because, sometimes I'm not a big fan of name dropping, but if it helps move the process forward, right? If it helps get the word out, and, so be it. So you're playing with some really awesome people. And I'm just so very humbled that you still took the time out today and spend it with little old me, on my podcast to help you.
I know of my nothingness. I'm just trying to serve and love and lift people. And honestly, I I received information how to create. So I can't even take credit for doing that. I was blessed to know how to do it. And I am grateful that there are amazing individuals in this world that see the value of what Echo Water is and what Echo devices produce, and that they're coming on board to help. I mean, I was introduced to Zach from Dr. Dan Pompa, and he's amazing. But that's how I met Zach. Dan told Zach, you need this water system, and so Zach contacted me, and said, hey, Dr. Pompa told me, blah blah. Well, he got our water. He loves it. Takes it everywhere he goes. He's in Australia right now, and we just overnighted some products there because he's like, I got to have more for when I'm in Australia. And so I tell you, people like Zach who are famous and are amazing, they're also amazing people because, he has literally said, I want to support this and I'm not concerned about money. I just want to get it out and help, just like it has helped me. I wanted to help other people. And he's coming from his place, which is a heart place, right? And so it's nice. Not everybody's like that. Some people were like, show me the money,
Right, right.
And so anyways, but I'm very, very grateful and very thankful. I have a tremendous amount of gratitude for those individuals that are, behind our product. Antonio Ribeiro, who is the host for America's Funniest Home Videos, and he was Carlton back in.
Oh yeah.
So
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Every time I hear Tom Jones song, I see Carlton's dance.
Well, his wife contacts me often because they actually tell other celebrities like Corbin Bleu about our water system because they have it in their home. And I can tell you a really cool story about Antonio Ribeiro. He's a real dude. Like, I was talking to him on the phone while he was under his sink installing his water machine himself. And he said, Paul, I can do it. And I'm like, whoa, that's pretty cool. He goes, yeah, just get on the phone, tell him what to do. And he's literally under there doing it. He goes, okay, I'm done. Great job. Thanks for telling me. That was easy.
Yeah, it is pretty easy.
These people are real. Like that's a real person who, he's famous. He could hire someone to put it in, but he's like, I'll just do it.
Right.
And so they got systems for their RV because they bought a place in Texas and during COVID and all this stuff. And so I tell you, there's some really amazing people that are using, Reba McEntire, these people.
I love Reba.
Yeah. She's used our water for 5 years now. So
shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I love Reba.
Yeah.
All right. I need to stop fangirling out. So I do have your stuff up on my website. So they could go to the resources at thelimeboss.com. How else can they find you? And so this is shameless plug time of the hour. So what do you want to plug, Mr. Paul, Dr. Paul?
We do have some funny videos on our YouTube channel, Echo Water, and our website, which you should have a link that you're sharing with them, because if you guys go to our website, you're going to be paying retail, but don't do that. You got the Lime Boss here with you. She'll get you a discount so follow the link, her link, and you'll get a discount. But our website is echoh2o.com. So Echo Water, but it's just H2O instead of the word water. So Echo H2O like octopus or O like oxygen. Don't put a zero there. So echoh2o.com. And you can see our products. You can look on there. If you're looking to geek out, like I do sometimes, and you want to read the studies, that's hydrogenstudies.com. That's the website, hydrogenstudies.com. And that's what you want to do, is go there. And you can, if you go to hydrogenstudies.com, you can type in any disease model into the address bar and it'll search it out. If you scroll down when you get to the page, it'll just show you an address bar. Scroll down, it'll show you all the studies from 1995 till current. It'll show you how many human studies, which is 216 double-blind placebo-controlled studies. It'll show you the countries that
that's actually real science.
Yeah. So I mean, out of the 1,250 studies, 216 or 220 are human double-blind. So it's good. So I would say that's a good resource. And if you've got stuff like diabetes, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, if you've got heart issues, if you've got questions about telomeres and how hydrogen affects telomeres, it's on there. If you start looking at non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, if you start looking up, any type of thing that's current in the industry that's hot, like what's the thing that everyone's drinking now that gets their energy up? And my mind just went blank. Anyways, so I would say that people are talking about telomeres. People are talking about all kinds of different things. Well, you can type it in to see if hydrogen stimulates these kind of things, and you'll find that hydrogen does. And so anyways, use it as a resource. If you're skeptical, you can always start with our Echo Go Plus, which is this guy. It's only retails at $249. It's not the answer for your family, but it is for personal use. And you can just push a button and 5 minutes later, you have hydrogen water. Once you feel the benefits, then you can graduate and get one of our bigger machines, because I can tell you right now, it's a little bit of a pain if this is your only water you're going to be drinking, to be constantly making it. But for when you're traveling, which is why it's called the Echo Go, when you're traveling, like Zach was on a plane going to Australia, and what do you think he's got with him? His Echo Go Plus. So just understand that that's the purpose of the battery operated devices. We do have machines that can fit any. We have reverse osmosis for filtration. We have whole house filtration. We can change all the water in your house, or we can just do the drinking water at your sink. It's whatever you want. But keep in mind, we do have financing, we do have payment plans, but most people buy with credit card because they want their miles or what have you. So just know that we've kind of dialed it down after 12 years of doing this, and crazy in numbers, 250,000 machines. Just understand that we have the solution for you.
Fantastic. Awesome. Bravo. Oh my God. I said, every time I talk to you, I fall right back in love with technology and yourself and everything that you're doing. So again, I can't thank you enough for coming on board, because like I said, I know enough to be dangerous, but I don't know enough.
There is no doubt that water is good for you. And thanks to breakthrough technology and recent studies on the effects of hydrogen water, it's growing in popularity. But what's the difference between hydrogen water and plain water? Let's dive deeper into the molecular makeup of plain water. Water molecules have 1 part oxygen and 2 parts hydrogen, and when they combine, the 2 molecules turn into a liquid. But what makes hydrogen water different? Echo machines are designed to dissolve more hydrogen gas into your water, making your normal water into hydrogen water with no pH change. In contrast to plain water, you can see that we now have H2O molecules as well as 2 parts hydrogen gas. These additional H2 molecules are unbonded and remain in gas form. So why is it better to have hydrogen gas dissolved in your water? Hundreds of scientific studies, including the studies by Medical Gas Research on hydrogen-rich water, have helped us understand that there are many biological advantages of drinking hydrogen water, such as neurological benefits that help improve brain function and boost energy throughout the day. In addition to these benefits, dissolved molecular hydrogen has been shown to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, which are the leading causes of disease. Now you can drink with confidence, knowing the difference between hydrogen water and plain water.